head over to the last game that we're going to preview today. Let's talk about the Independence Bowl. Army plays Louisiana Tech. All right, we're going to pick this game at 14.5. There's 14s out there. All right, for any of you guys that are, you know, you know, this Louisiana Tech team comes in because Marshall unfortunately opted out of the bowl game after Charles Huff had left, and so many players entered the transfer portal, which we could talk about that whole can of worms. I really want to avoid doing that because this game should be about Louisiana Tech stepping up, by the way, in this game. And, Army, thankfully, right, these seniors get, a chance to play another game that they so deserve to play in, right? But, yeah, with that being said, Army's going to kill them. I really think so. This Louisiana Tech team is not good, right? One of their strengths, though, is their run defense. But, what are the really good rushing attacks that you've played against this year besides Jackson State?
I was going to say, yeah.
Jacksonville State, right? I guess you could talk about Liberty, but I believe you had a banged up Caden Salter in that game.
Well, Arkansas probably runs the ball well. But again, it's hard to compare Arkansas because just the huge talent difference there, right? And Dominion had a good game, and Green got his on the ground. So, yeah, it's a valid point, obviously.
But, I just think Army's going to be able to run the football really well. And I do think Army defense, I continue to have questions about it, right? But I do think that this Louisiana Tech offense is not very good, all right? Yay, you scored 33 points against Kennesaw State, Yay, you did score 37 on Jacksonville State, which was pretty impressive, and Evan Bullock played a great game. But that means Evan Bullock has to play a fantastic game. And by the way, is he going to have his best receiver this game?
True Edwards, he's playing, I thought, right?
Okay.
Well, it's more about I just think it's how limited Bullock is. Listen, he takes care of the football, which is awesome, right? 14 touchdown, 2 interception ratio, 67.
So True Edwards is for sure playing this game. Even though he's in the portal? I don't know.
Oh, is he in the portal?
He is in the portal.
Fuck.
So he's not playing. And I don't know.
I don't think it matters. Well, it does matter.
But he's been visiting schools, right? It does. I think that matters. If you need Evan Bullock to play his best game in this game, you need True Edwards to be there. I really do.
Here's what I'll say too. So
right?
Yeah. So Bullock's gonna have to, and I was kind of getting that where, he takes care of the football and he doesn't throw interceptions, yada yada yada. But he also takes one sack every 8.8 attempts. Right. He's gonna have about 24 attempts in the game. There's gonna be 3 or more sacks that could be crucial, and it could be even more, especially if you don't have guys like True Edwards to be able to trust the ball to throw it up to. I will say, too, here, though, Louisiana Tech, they do a good job of spreading the ball around on the ground, finding creative ways to run the ball, right? You've got a couple running backs. You've got Jimmy Holiday, the wide receiver, putting in work there, who's got 37 receptions, 47 carries on the year. And also this Army team, we talked about them, potentially their defense not being super sold on them. To me, I look at Louisiana Tech and how are they going to be able to run the ball? Because I feel pretty good about Army moving the football. I mean, Bryson Daly is a freaking monster. I know you're missing Kanye Udo. He's going to Arizona State. I get that. 10 touchdowns, 1,100 yards. He's a really good football player. But I still think you'll be able to get him. And even without, the corner, Louisiana Tech missing their cornerback, Cedric Woods, right? Maybe the wide receiver, Reynolds, some other guys get some more looks. I just think this Army offensive line will move the football, right? Will move the football for them. But I think the more important part to look at, too, is Louisiana Tech, can they keep it up? Because you've got a couple guys in that front seven who are banged up for Army right now. They just played that Army-Navy game, right, 2 weeks after Louisiana Tech played their last game. So Louisiana Tech had a whole month off. But here's Army playing, 2 weeks later. And we'll see what happens. And they had to play 14 games. No. They had to play 13 games. But we'll see what happens there. And also, I do want to say real quick, you mentioned shouting out Louisiana Tech. This was very hard decision because you knew you were going to be taking this game in your home state, right, in Shreveport, Louisiana, against a team you're probably going to be 2 touchdown favorites, 2 touchdown dogs against. And there were other teams who had higher APR scores that obviously declined the rating, that declined the invitation, right? Because it was kind of thrown on late, and you've got teams with a lot of people on the portal. And here's Louisiana Tech willing to play football, and it's freaking awesome. And we'll see what happens. I hope they're going to give it a good fight. I know they will because they're in it to win it for sure. But I just have a hard time believing that it could. Army against teams that are not great is really freaking good, right? They dominated the American. They dominated the middle, the bottom of the American. And I have a feeling they might do that the same here to Louisiana Tech.
I mean, also too, like Louisiana Tech has opt outs of their own, like a pretty decent amount from what I'm looking at. David Blay, Cedric Woods, Jadon Burnett, Pig Cage, Jack Turner, True Edwards, and some of those are significant players, right? You're starting cornerback, you're starting defensive lineman, you're starting safety, and your best receiver, right? Yeah, and like you said, they still elected to play in this football game, so credit to them. But I will be taking Army minus 14.5, and honestly feeling pretty good about it, to be honest. And there's a situation where this game gets shortened, right? Because Army's trying to run the football, and maybe they're not able to run the ball as well as they would like to. But yeah. Plus, like, I mean, it's nice having more time to prepare for the triple option than you would normally have to prepare. But they also had less time to prepare for this game than some other teams had, time to prepare for these games. So I don't know. Just it's interesting, man. I like Army minus 14.5. What can I say? Sue me. Sorry, Louisiana Tech.
Wait, real quick on
Well,
that. So True Edwards, so he wasn't going to, and this is why I didn't have him in the portal because I did these things about a week or so ago. He was JUCO guy. So that whole eligibility waiver that came out for JUCO guys gave him an extra year of eligibility. I
so
wouldn't
he's in the
be.
portal.
He's in the portal. I wouldn't be convinced that he's not playing in the game. I,
I I think he probably isn't. I mean, he's visiting. He's visiting schools right now.
is he visiting, or did he just get
Yeah, he's
offered?
visiting. He's getting offered. I believe he was visiting Florida State. Pretty sure that was a big one. But
Okay. Well, it shows you how valuable he is because he jumps in the portal, boom, right away. You got these Power 4 schools looking to get after him. Yeah, that's a good point you brought up there.
so I'm just saying that's a big deal, right? Again, I'll say it again. I know I already said this. If Evan Bullock is going to play his best game, right, I think he needs True Edwards to do that, right? I really do. So